So recently I did something I've almost never done before. I removed access to the comment section of my YouTube channel to some of my subscribers. One of which started as a result of that his own channel under his YouTube username Pianopat. This was a decision that I did not make lightly. It was also a decision I knew there was not one good side at it, if only the fact that it was obvious that this action was going to be used to frame me as a person who cannot handle critique, and more importantly, as a proof that the reconstruction of the historical use of the metronome as I bring forward on my channel obviously is weak, since why else would I have blocked access to the comment section for critical questions? I knew all of that, but I did not have a choice. And since this action caused wrinkles in our community here on Authentic Sound, I believe it's time for me to explain in detail why I took the decision I did. And I also want to make an opening for renewed contact and respect. There is enough tension in the world we live in today to let, for all things, tempo research goes somewhat more. First off, let me say this up front. There has been not a single user blocked on my channel for doubting the things I advocate. Not a single one. You all know that if you leave a comment on my channel, I will at least read it, and oftentimes you get a reply as well. Also Pianopat. I haven't counted the number of replies and the hours I spent writing them, but there are many. And unfortunately, and I didn't know this at the time when I clicked on that remove user button, as a consequence of that, YouTube deleted all the comments ever made of that particular user, including all my replies. This was never my intent, and I wish I could undo that aspect of it, but there appears to be no solution at all for restoring these conversations, because that's how it starts, also with Pianopat, as with everyone else, as a conversation. He was rather strong in his disapproval for my approach, and being some years on YouTube now, I can smell from a distance who's open for the idea or who's not. And Pianopat was clearly not, which is basically not a problem on its own. We live in a free world, and moreover in a time where every individual can make his own choices, also here on YouTube. It's simply unbelievable how much content, also classical music, this social platform receives. But yes, if you land on my channel, I think it's rather clear that the community around Authentic Sound takes the perspective of the metrical approach to the metronome numbers. So when I reach strong disagreements, as that initial one of Pianopat, I typically reply with a few basic questions that make our perspective rather clear, and questions that in my mind should be in front of everyone who wants to dive into the fascinating world of tempo research. The first one being, how would you explain the hundreds, if not thousands, of impossible metronome marks? Typically, the answer on that initial question is that these metronome numbers are far from unplayable. Okay. I then move to a concrete example, Czerny Etudes Opus 299, a very known bundle of etudes in which one needs to reach an average speed of 15 notes a second. The case of Czerny is really strong, since few other musicians left so many descriptions of the metronome as an accurate and exact tempo device. Well, the reply I get on the Czerny case is always key. There are three possibilities then. First option is that the person in question replies with something like, "Really? Oh my god, I never thought this was so fast. Thank you for sharing. I'll jump at my piano right away to try things out." And in almost all cases, people that fall into this category will come back and become quickly part of our journey. But they are rare. Second category is the largest. Of those people, I will simply never hear again a single word. Probably They leave my channel with the idea of having dealt with a kind of lunatic that isn't worth any of their time. And so that's fine with me. I would almost say it makes sense, since why would you stay if what's being shared in that place is nothing for you? And then you have the third category. That's the one Pianopat falls in. This is a category of people who share the belief that by definition the metronome numbers are single beat, not even considering the possibility of an alternative truth, no matter what argument is used against it. People who fall into this category will never give a concrete reply to the two basic questions I gave as a return welcome, other than, of course these metronome numbers are possible, and of course I can play them. So, yes, my third question and final welcome question is not hard to imagine. If all of that is true, then why not take your smartphone and share some of these performances with me? So, in 3 questions, the essential point of any research to metronome numbers is made clear. Just take Czerny's well-known Opus 299, make clear these metronome numbers were meant to be played as such, and last essential point, play it. Since I have posted that one video with Lorenz Gradient early 2017, the one with the ping pong opening, I have at least asked these questions 100 times, if not more. So guess how much recordings I received back as a reply? Indeed, 0. So the actual reason why it is so hard to establish a true meaningful conversation with people from this third category on my channel is because there is no common ground to start a conversation. Let's compare this to something else like math. The reason why mathematicians spend so much time over the course of 350 years to solve one of the most famous theorems of the 17th century, that of Pierre de Fermat, is because they accepted the idea of the theorem to be right. Same with metronome numbers. If we do not keep referring to them as starting points, as actual playing speeds that we constantly try out and refer to, not verbally, but behind our pianos, there is nothing to have a discussion about. It's like claiming to be working at the solution of Fermat without referring to the actual theorem. And so you come to a point where any discussion becomes useless and, as I said in one of my recent videos, a waste of time from both sides. When we arrive at this moment in the conversation, where strong disbelievers like Pianopat keep getting around those very concrete questions and challenges I proposed, there is an injection of emotion that goes into the conversation. And it's not hard to understand why, and it's humanly very understandable as well. Someone lands on my channel, is confronted with the exact opposite he always believed in, fires some quick questions with energy, and is totally convinced his comments will have a powerful effect on me. Then he gets a reply from me, the 3 welcome questions. And of course this creates a kind of shock, which is hard to accept. Why would I earn the right to claim something totally opposite of what has been accepted as truth by almost everybody else? But of course, that person goes to his or her piano and tries the Chinese stuff out. Certainly, almost certainly, only then realizing how insanely over the top fast it is. Seeing perhaps only now the serious issues regarding playability as well. Maybe even diving into Czerny a bit to see that these etudes were not written for the Thalbergs or Liszts of the mid-19th century, but for students. And probably, but I cannot see in someone's head, an awareness raises what the enormous impact this could have if it were true. If that chain of reaction happens, based on my initial welcome questions, well, a difficult dilemma emerges. That of the acceptance of the metronome numbers at one side, and that of the denial of a logical solution at the other hand. Because, after all, even if one rejects all theoretical reconstruction of the double beat approach, It's not hard to see the logic and even the mind-boggling simplicity of it. So when all of that energy comes together on a channel like ours here at Authentic Sound, in a community that's open for a new perspective, critical yes, but open-minded after all, typically the energy of people like Pianopat is fueled by the idea they as a person are personally responsible for defeating the idea of what is shared on this channel. Oftentimes, as happened in this case as well, things become very personal instead of fact-based. And there starts the problem. Not with the persons behind the names of Pianopat and others. I'm sure they all are fine people and perhaps even loving fathers or family members. No. The problem is that of the anonymity internet provides to all of us, or the distance. It's easy to type in things and press on enter, and you would be surprised how many people change in tone and behavior from behind their desktops or smartphones compared to who they really are. Also here, the 3 users I blocked from the comment section on Authentic Sound lifted their status to anti-double beat warriors, and as much time I spent answering their claims, challenging their thoughts, their only reply was that they never ever answered their questions, which of course annoyed me more than I can say, having spent days to give genuine feedback to their concerns. The only problem was for them, I did not fall in line with their claims, or in other words, their beliefs. And of course I didn't like the fact that they went after many comments in recent and less recent videos, repeating over and over again that the same claims that I did not answer their legitimate questions. But even then, I went every day in YouTube's spam folder to whitelist Pianopat's comments, in which he kept sharing the link to the first video he made against my channel. It's against YouTube's policies to promote your channel in someone else's comment section, and certainly if you do it time after time, YouTube by default removes your comment to the spam folder. But I wanted to go with the idea of freedom of thoughts as long as I could. But that position was impossible to hold, because their tone shifted quickly from skeptical to rather aggressive, and not only to me personal, but to other viewers as well. And if you doubt what I'm saying, just go over to Pianopat's channel and see in the comment section the way people are talking about me. It's on the level, honestly, Pianopat never did, but it shows the willingness to sacrifice the personal for the belief. So many of you, and with many I mean more than a few dozens, reached out to me saying you felt intimidated, never left a comment anymore. So very quickly a situation emerged that I could not deny any longer. And when group conversations were formed in which I was called a troll, a liar, and things I will not repeat here, it was Anya who said enough is enough. And again, I knew it would have a negative repercussion on my channel, since from the outside it appears as if I simply killed some opposition. And of course Pianopat framed it this way, which again shows how determined they are to play this game ad hominem instead based on facts, which will always remain, whether we like it or not, the metronome numbers itself in the first place. The way his channel is focused on me as a person being wrong in the first place is something I'd never do, never will do as well, and quite frankly it feels a little bit awkward. But that just as a side remark. Listen, it's basically very simple. Imagine you were invited to a concert, a Beethoven concert that I play. You would know up front that what you would hear is music by Beethoven played in double beat. Imagine someone stood up in the middle of the concert shouting everything I did was obviously nonsense and not true. How would people react? How would I have to react? Or imagine someone came in the concert and instead of listening constantly moved from seat to seat whispering to his neighbors how wrong I was in all I'm doing. Well, what would you expect would happen? It's basically that simple. And again, it has nothing to do with refusal of opposition. I do not see Pianopat and his friends as opposition. And if there are problems, well then we reflect on them. There are problems at the double beat side as well as on the single beat side. I never claimed there weren't. But the beauty of it all, to me, are exactly those tempo indications fitting so well into the tradition of notation, of the true meaning of tempo ordinario, of the original understanding of tactus, schlag, and which result in the discovery of a completely forgotten world of beauty and emotion. It's that what I want to share, nothing more. And if you want to become part of this, you're welcome. Also Pianopat. It's almost Christmas time, so let's make peace. I reach my hand to him, just drop me an email and let's have a Skype call. Shake hands and move forward. You with what you believe and I with my stuff. We might even collaborate in the future, who knows. It's easier to talk from channel to channel than from channel to comment section. But let's realize that even here on YouTube, we are all humans, musicians even, and in this time of international conflicts we shouldn't forget we are all bearers of beauty, which in the broader perspective is nothing less than bearers of peace. Thanks for watching. See you soon again.